Good morning, Idle Talk mini connoisseurs, listeners, supporters of the show, frankly. I was gonna tell a story about how I almost broke my toe. It just didn't feel right. Like, all my mind is just like all day today, the previous day. So I'm posting this on the 25th, so the 24th, all day Thursday. I've just been thinking about just the developments in the Ukraine and Russia, and what it means, trying to gather some information, just seeing like what's happening throughout the day. So that's what's been on my mind lately. It's been really like weighing me down today. It's something to consider and to talk about. But I found a couple of Twitter things that I kind of want to read to you. I think the consensus is that it's crazy how people say that tweets from today's age are going to be put in history books in the future. And that's if we even have a future because of the climate change. But that's something we have to worry about still. But, this is happening now. Not saying that climate change isn't happening now, but like we got to fucking figure this out. So it's interesting. I've always considered Twitter to be the new newspaper, and that before it was snippets from newspapers being put into history books. Now it's gonna be tweets. I'm just gonna read some information that I found that will be useful. To, kind of get some background to what's going on. Some of the stuff I kind of already knew because I'm not really necessarily worried about this being factual because I kind of knew some of these points already. But again, I'm just reading it because I thought it was some good information. But if it turns out some things may be wrong or not true at all, then, I apologize ahead of time. Again, this person looks like they did a ton of work to get all this information out. And I'm just going to take their word on it. because again, some parts that I do recognize and know to be true, I just believe it. But we'll get right into it. So it says, person's at Kyle the Journey. So Russia versus Ukraine. Story goes like this. Russia and the Ukraine were a part of the Soviet Union until it dissolved and the Ukraine declared independence in 1991. Point to note, Ukraine occupies a strategic geographical location. It sits at the center of the fight for influence in Europe. Moscow, the capital of Russia, wants to or is preventing Ukraine from joining the West. To further explain, Ukraine has wanted to join the European Union, the EU, and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also known as NATO. Due to the long and complex nature of joining NATO, Ukraine has been stuck at the door since its first expressed interest in 2008. If Ukraine joins NATO, it is alleged that their joining would be a threat to Russian security. Another important time period to note is March 2014. During this period is when the conflict between both countries began. It commenced as a result of protests from pro-Europe counterparts against the corruption surrounding the pro-Russian president at the time. From their understanding, pro-Europe would I'm fucking stupid. Pro-Europe would refer to counterparts in support of Ukraine joining NATO, while pro-Russian refers to those in favor of Ukraine being held under Russia's thumb. Continuing, the protest caused the president of Ukraine to flee, and Putin, president of Russia, saw it as an opportunity to gain power of strategic places in and around Ukraine. The opportunity saw Putin invading the Crimean Peninsula in South Ukraine. He organized a referendum to take over the area in the presence of Russian troops, which was then declared illegal by the international community. A point to note, the peninsula is strategic because of the entrance it provides to the Black Sea, an area Putin wanted to control. Of course, the invasion caused protests, economic penalties against Russia, and petitions/calls for the territory to be returned. Putin said that will never happen. Since 2014, Putin has been providing militia and political support to pro-Russia separatists or persons in favor of segregation, fighting the Ukrainian army in East Ukraine. Approximately 14,000 people have died since. Matters have escalated as a result of Russia's decision to send approximately 150,000 troops near the Ukraine border. There has also been a steady flow of military operations in the effort to show the military might of Russia. Putin wants a guarantee that Ukraine will not join NATO. They will demilitarize and become a neutral state. This comes in addition to the statement Putin made about Ukraine being a puppet of the West and was never a proper state. According to the BBC, Putin tore up a peace deal and ordered the troops mentioned about into the two eastern held regions. The peace deal is known as the Minsk Peace Accord, and this is an agreement and an attempt to secure a ceasefire between the Ukrainian government and the pro-Russia separatists in the east. The most recent of the Minsk Accords, Minsk II, was signed in 2015 and has 13 points, 9 of which cover the management of the actual conflict in the occupied territories. Other points include withdrawal of heavy weapons and amnesty in exchange of hostages, and the pullout of all foreign armies, militias, and additional equipment and mercenaries from Ukraine. France and Germany played a key role in the brokerage of the accords via a grouping called the Normandy Format. It makes provisions for a mechanism involving all 4 countries, allowing them to sit and discuss tactics to help reduce misunderstandings and build relations. Someone like in this thread replies to the person, is like, so what does that have to do with America? The person replies, everything and nothing. The US is responding not only as one of the biggest leaders of the world, but as allies to Ukraine, members of the G7 and NATO. So there is an island deemed the Snake Island in the Black Sea that is under Ukrainian control, or like that's part of. Jesus fucking Christ, that scared me. Oh my god. Anyway, so Snake Island in the Black Sea. There were 13 casualties. Ukrainian defenders on the island were killed after refusing to surrender. They would be given Hero of Ukraine medal posthumously. But this is kind of like a transcript of like what happened. The Russian ship, before they fired, they say, this is a Russian military ship. I suggest you lay down your weapons and surrender to avoid bloodshed and unnecessary victims. Otherwise, we will open fire on you. And then in the video, it shows that the Ukrainian defenders turned up the volume so they could hear them, so that your Russian ship could hear them, and they say, Russian military ship, go fuck yourself. And that was their last stand, pretty much. The video is pretty intense. I'm going to link all the tweets that I have in the show notes today, but somebody made a point about that they died on their feet as opposed to dying on your knees, and as like kind of insensitive as that sounds, but like, how would you rather go out? And I know they went out with some balls, some honor. And the last thing I kind of want to talk about today, it hasn't been officially confirmed or anything. Keep your eye out on the ghost of Kyiv, if they really exist, because this tweet is interesting. It says, as it's true that today a heroic Ukrainian fighter pilot single-handedly downed 6 Russian jets. This flying ace immediately becomes a stirring symbol of Ukraine's resistance to Putin's war crimes. They shove a photo on there, and it says, allegedly a still image of the ghost of Kyiv flying in an old MiG-29 taken from a widely circulating video. Again, we do not know if this is real or not, but I'm sure that major media is looking into it right now because this story is all over the internet. Updates, some viral reports saying 6 confirmed victories, some say 4. To be clear, none of this is confirmed yet, but we are waiting on a word from major media. Currently, it is 9:55 p.m. here in the United States, on the East Coast, and I'm going to keep my eye on this because I feel like 4 to 6, kind of like last-ditch like victories, is pretty impressive, and I can't wait to actually see it confirmed. Probably tomorrow, by the time you hear this, maybe, hopefully. But again, it goes to show you that things that Americans kind of characterize themselves, like go out fighting, don't let them take everything from you, that this quote-unquote American spirit is kind of, it's not American spirit, it's just human spirit, and that other places can carry that spirit with them. And I mentioned to my group chat earlier today, I was like, Ukraine is really going out with haymakers. They're not taking this on the chin. They're not going to accept defeat that easily, and it's commendable. It's respectable, and to see it from such a far telescope, not even being remotely involved into what's happening over there, you just have to just sit there and wonder how it's going to end and how it's going to affect humanity moving forward, and how things are going to develop within the next couple of weeks. I don't think this is going to be something that ends tomorrow or over the weekend. I honestly think this probably could be dragged out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. That was today's mini. I wanted to talk about something completely different, but this has just been eating at my mind all day, and there's still news happening throughout throughout the day, and there's going to be news happening throughout the entire night. And I hope that you're keeping up with what's happening. It's a very important moment in history. A lot of people are kind of speculating that, World War III, having a draft or whatever it may be, but that's not where we're at right now. And I kind of just want to let people know that we're not at that place in time yet. So let's kind of worry about the people that are being directly affected now, and let's worry about ourselves later, because at some point we're going to have to worry about ourselves. But nonetheless, that was today's mini, and I have nothing more to say.